A dog deployed on a warship, officially. Not as a mascot, not as a stunt. On May 2, 2023, a 3-year-old yellow Labrador named Sage left Norfolk, Virginia, aboard the USS Gerald R. Ford as a certified crew member, assigned to a chaplain trained for 120 hours, and deployed under a formal military wellness program. And the ship she boarded was already the most advanced aircraft carrier ever built. The Gerald R. Ford is the lead ship of the US Navy's newest carrier class. When it departed Norfolk, it carried roughly 5,000 sailors into one of the most psychologically demanding environments on Earth. No windows, no privacy, machinery running 24 hours a day, no stepping outside without risking a fall into the open ocean. The Navy is required by law to operate 11 nuclear-powered carriers at all times. That is 11 floating cities, each running continuous rotations of sailors separated from their families for months. The mental health cost of that is not a soft issue. It is an operational one. SAGE was the centerpiece of the Expanded Operational Stress Control Canine program, a pilot initiative trained and supported by MUTS with a mission, a Virginia-based nonprofit, CMDR. Genevieve Clark, the chaplain for the Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group, became her primary handler. That pairing was not accidental. A chaplain manages the invisible wounds of a crew. The science behind the program is straightforward. Interaction with trained dogs measurably reduces cortisol and increases oxytocin. Hospitals and militaries had used this in shore-based settings for years. The Gerald R. Ford deployment asked a harder question. Does it work inside a steel hull, at sea, with no land in sight? Here is the context that reframes all of it. The USS Nimitz served for 51 years before its final deployment mission. 51 years. That span covers the fall of the Soviet Union, the rise of the internet, and multiple generations of the aircraft it launched. A ship that serves that long does not just carry planes, it carries people across decades through deployments that stretch the limits of human endurance. The technology gets upgraded, the human cost accumulates quietly. SAGE's return put that cost on record. The Navy formally acknowledged that keeping 11 nuclear-powered carriers operational indefinitely, with crews isolated at sea for months, requires more than engineering solutions. A 3-year-old Labrador from a Virginia nonprofit made that argument better than any policy memo could. Subscribe if this is the kind of story you came here for. The Nimitz lasted 51 years because of engineering. Whether the sailors who crew the next 51 years of carriers make it through depends on whether SAGE's program becomes standard, not experimental.